professor who predicted mass human extinction by 2026 was dead wrong. And of course we knew these climatologists were lying the whole time. They're saying whatever they had to say and do whatever they had to do to continue to get funding. That's what it was really all about. They're no better. They're no better than the people who said it, who said the end of the world is this date, and God told me that Jesus is coming back on this day, and all this other stuff. When the Bible says, no one knows the day or the hour, not even the angels. But we got doomsayers like this dude saying human mass extinction because of global warming. If we don't pay taxes and we don't give carbon taxes to the UN, it's going to be the end of the world. And turned out, guess what? He was wrong. Well, how come they keep saying every time they like AOC, in 12 years is going to be if we don't get rid of all our airplanes and cow farts, it's going to be the end of the the end of the world. Same thing. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to play the clip in here, this prediction from 2016. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. There you'll find a link to my Patreon. That's where I'll talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get right to this news. Now, this comes from the Climate Depot, who does wonderful, wonderful work. I mean, they bring the receipts. A lot of the information, a lot of the studies that I found through Climate Depot. This website has been around for a very long time, putting out really good information when it comes to the old climate change hoax. Predicting the catastrophe is just around the next corner is an old game for the global warming crowd. From Al Gore to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to King Charles to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the forecasts of doom have been raining down on us for decades. They fearmonger you to try to get your money from you. That's what this is really all about. But that we are able to note this today is remarkable because one crank is sure that 2026 is the year of our extinction. So I'm not going to read what he said. I'm just going to scroll down here to the clip here. Y'all can see him. Y'all can see him from way back in 2016. Hear what he has to say. Let's play the clip. Here we go.
We are heading for mass extinction. There you go. That's it. End it there. As humans destroy our own habitat. That is the no-holes-barred message from climate change expert Guy McPherson from the University of Arizona. Last time I spoke to you, 2014, and you sort of, snatched any hope of a future from me and my family. It was doom and gloom. Has anything changed since then in your account of things?
Oh yes, the situation is far worse than it was then.
Okay. How much time does the human race have?
I can't imagine there will be a human on the planet in 10 years. I suspect it'll be...
No, I'm sorry. Did you say 10 years?
Yes, in my out loud voice even. Yes, I can't... we're headed for a temperature within that span that is at or near the highest temperature experienced on Earth in the last 2 billion years. That's at least an order of magnitude faster than occurred during the Great Dying 252 million years.
But you are suggesting then that the temperature increase will be phenomenal over the next few years.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is exponential change, and we have difficulty coming to grips with exponential change.
People really believed this nonsense. People really believed that. It's crazy to me, man, that people think we have so much control over the weather like that. We really don't. We really don't. The climate, not the weather, the climate like that. So is this fellow an escaped mental patient? Right, great question. No, he's an academic. Now, according to his website, a University of Arizona professor emeritus of natural resources and the environment. Now, I covered a study that showed, I covered it before, a study that showed that the climate model that they were using was just outright wrong. It would never ever happen. But they can they were using this study to fearmonger people. They were using this model to try to fearmonger people. But now even was it the World Health Organization or United Nations, one of them international entities even admitted to the study now, which is crazy. I can't believe they're actually admitting that everything they've been saying about global warming is untrue. Even Bill Gates said that we're no longer looking at an existential threat. But he's also a certified grief recovery specialist, which seems like a good business to be in for anyone who causes emotional trauma by predicting that the end of humanity is nigh. At least one person blames McPherson for most of my anxiety. And I've had tons of clients that was worried about global warming being the end of the world. I mean, just super duper anxious and having panic attacks from it and all this other stuff, all because of lies. But when it comes to therapy, I leave my beliefs and stuff out of it, even when there's absolute facts showing that global warming is not happening. It's still a polar issue, so I don't even give my clients my take on that, my patients my take on that. I just work with the anxiety and stuff like that because that's my job. My job is to not give them my political leanings, which I'm going to be honest with you, in my profession, there is a lot of therapists that put their political beliefs before helping someone, which is just crazy. But I digress. But yeah, for him to be a certified grief recovery specialist and a doomsayer at the same time is crazy. It's crazy to me. But 3 years ago, Richard Linson, also a professor emeritus of Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, told an interviewer that McPherson was, quote, entitled to any science fiction he wishes to produce, but there's no scientific evidence establishing his claims. These are scare stories. Isn't that what I've been saying? He goes on to say, I think once people realize the public is amenable to scare stories, they get carried away. That's exactly what it is. The records show that there has been no exponential increase in the global temperature since McPherson got carried away a decade back. This is so funny to me, man, because people really believed in this, or still do believe in this nonsense. Measurements made by satellites in the lower troposphere show that the temperatures today are roughly where they were in 2016 and have in fact fallen. Get that right. Fallen since 2024. And they were not quite 1.5 degrees Celsius higher than they were in 1979 when the satellite record began. Wow. So-called conspiracy theorists like myself proven again, saying that this whole thing is a farce. This whole global warming thing is made up. They just want to use it to transfer wealth. That's all this is to get money and more money into their coffers. I say this before, I talked about this before, and I bring it up again because every time I think of global warming and charging people for carbon dioxide, for CO2, I always think about that stand-up comedy what Chris Rock did back when Chris Rock was hilarious. He was like, man, he was like, they charge you for everything. One day they gonna charge you to breathe. And you're gonna be walking down the street and someone just choke and pass out and land. What happened to him? Like, man, he ain't pay his bill. They cut his air off. And that's what CO2 reminds me of. That's exactly, if government could charge you to breathe, they would literally do it. They would tax you to breathe. And that's crazy because everyone knows how things are right now. Everyone has their struggles and stuff and trying to make it in this economy with gas prices going up and stuff like that. So to charge people, to tax people the way governments and cities, especially blue-red cities are taxing people is just crazy. It's ridiculous. And hopefully people will start waking up to the madness and the nonsense, and we can all get on one page and try to make things better. But let me get off my soapbox. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.